Lee Marvin's an unforgettable chapter in a Hollywood legend's life. He died from a heart attack while being treated for a run-down condition. Raised in New York, Marvin's mischievous spirit came out to play when he ran away from home at the age of 4. While the youngster was found 2 days later, looking back on the memory, Marvin quipped, "Yeah, I wasn't having any too much discipline, even then." Sent to a succession of boarding schools, Marvin kept getting expelled from them, one after the other. When he was old enough, Marvin joined the Marines. "I wanted to prove how tough I was," he said. According to the New York Times, Marvin made 21 landings on Pacific Islands as a scout sniper. Then a Japanese bullet severed a nerve just below his spine, leading him to be hospitalized and in rehabilitation for 13 months. Once recovered, Marvin drifted through jobs, but it was when he worked as a plumber's apprentice that luck played its part. Celebrating a century of Lee Marvin, the proud Marine who became, and still is, the ultimate movie tough guy. Lee Marvin would have turned 100 a few days ago, which was never going to happen. Not Lee Marvin. Not the way he lived and died. Marvin, the ice-cold movie tough guy, with a head of white hair and a soul filled with quiet venom, died on August 29, 1987. He was just 63, but in Lee Marvin years, that was, 427? Despite his well-earned image as a dangerous man on or off-screen, Marvin, seen above in a public domain image posted on Wikimedia Commons, was born into comfort in New York City on February 19, 2024. His father Lamont Waltman Marvin, called the Chief by his son, was an advertising executive. His mother, Courtney Court Washington Davidge Marvin, wrote for fashion magazines. He followed in his father's footsteps by becoming a Marine and serving in combat in Asia during World War II as a scout sniper in the 24th Regiment of the 4th Marine Division. He took part in multiple amphibious assaults on islands the Japanese intended to hold at any cost. During the Battle of Saipan, Marvin was wounded, a shot in the ass, he liked to tell reporters and talk show hosts, on June 18, 1944, while the Marines took Mount Tapachot. He was also wounded in the foot, but the bullet in the rear severed his sciatic nerve and landed him in naval hospitals for more than a year. In a 1981 interview with Robert Ward for Rolling Stone, Marvin said that prepared him for his next career. Marvin started out in Hollywood as a bit player, and his military experience helped him land roles, since he could also serve as a technical advisor. He moved on to bigger parts, usually as a snarling bad guy. Marvin made a name for himself as a vicious killer who abused women for fun in the 1953 film noir classic, The Big Heat. While he tangled with star Glenn Ford, the scene where he threw a pot of scalding hot coffee into the face of blonde mob moll Gloria Graham shocked audiences, and it still does. In the 1961 nostalgic western, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, Marvin stood out as the, what else, psychotic killer Liberty Valance. John Wayne and James Stewart were the headline stars, but Marvin's performance dominated the movie. Marvin drank hard in those years, and it aged him like whiskey in an oaken cask. His face developed deep lines and his hair turned stone white in his 40s as he became a major star. Still, women found him very attractive on and off screen, as his rumbling voice and heavily hooded eyes created a dangerous air of sensuality. Surprisingly, when he won an Oscar as Best Actor in 1966, it was for the comedic dual roles of the drunken kid Shalene and the tin-nosed assassin Tim Strawn in Cat Ballou, a musical comedy that also starred Jane Fonda. Marvin was typically wry in his acceptance speech, referring to a memorable scene with a talented stunt animal. There he was, a successful son, a dedicated Marine, a real-life tough guy who was the world's favorite movie brawler, at the top of his profession. Marvin made several other excellent films, Point Blank, The Professionals, The Dirty Dozen, Emperor of the North, and more. He also cashed in by appearing in some flicks that required him to fire guns and cutting quips for a few weeks for a cool $1 million. Marvin was enmeshed in a palimony lawsuit filed by a former lover, Michelle Triola, that drew a lot of attention but ended with him not having to surrender as much money as she demanded. He married for a second time, settled in Tucson and enjoyed time with family and a few close friends. But the decades of hard living and hard drinking took a toll. He died of a heart attack at 63 in 1987 after intestinal issues sent him to a hospital. The New York Times headline was predictable. Lee Marvin, movie tough guy, dies. Marvin was prouder of his service in the Marine Corps than his movie career. He was buried with full military honors in Arlington National Cemetery, with no mention of his acting success and worldwide fame. So viewers, for the next update please subscribe our channel. Thanks for watching.